Well, it is the first of a possible 4 Western epics. Kevin Costner's Horizon and America Saga Chapter 1 is out this weekend. Take a look.
Ain't from here. Something you want to say? I will tell you this. In these territories, men will come try you. They will take from you until you are wiped clean from this land.
In other movie news, we also have a heartwarming tale depicting reservation life that's starring Lily Gladstone and the highly anticipated prequel to A Quiet Place. So Rad is here to give us his freshest take on this week's releases. Great to have you in.
Thanks for having me.
Okay, so what do we think of this first one? We're starting with Horizon and America Saga. Are you saying this movie couldn't be more Kevin Costner? Is that what you're saying?
It is the most Kevin Costner movie Kevin Costner has ever made.
Well, then I'm in. I'm just like full in, full stop. You can stop right there.
Yeah.
I will go see this.
Yeah, and look, and the reason I'm saying that is because this is his passion project. This is a movie he's been trying to make for like 20 years or more, and it feels like an accumulation of so many of the movies he's already made. Like, because like Dances with Wolves, it's a Civil War era drama. Like Open Range and Wyatt Earp, it's a Western with gunslingers and damsels in distress and all those things, right? And this is a story you mentioned, 4 parts, each one 3 hours. It's an epic Western saga that is trying to tell the story of the foundations of America with these Western tropes. And so like you have basically like settlers and gunslingers navigating the frontier and the indigenous communities whose lands they're trying to violently take. And I ended up enjoying this movie more than I expected to because some of those Western tropes I enjoy, the classic stuff, right? Where you have Kevin Costner being rascally, still being a thirst trap in his 70s, still romancing the damsel in distress and having his standoffs with the bad guys and stuff like that. What I was more uncomfortable with is kind of the way he negotiates with and romanticizes Western tropes within the colonial context, which is, especially when you look at this movie in comparison to Dances with Wolves. This is something he didn't with Dances with Wolves, but in this movie it's a little more regressive because the indigenous characters in this movie, they only exist in relation to the white characters as either a victim or a threat. So while I enjoyed some of the Gary Cooper stuff, I was a little more uncomfortable with the bigger picture.
It's a bold choice to say Chapter 1 when there's 4 ahead. This one's got to be a success for those others to go ahead. Who is this one for?
I mean, look, if you're into the most Kevin Costner-ness of it all, then if you still have love for Dances with Wolves and Open Range, you'll be down for this.
Okay, next up we have a movie on reservation life, Indigenous women and matriarchal relationships. This is called Family Dance. It's starring Lily Gladstone. You had the chance to speak with her ahead of the release. What did you think of it?
Yeah, I mean, look, I love this movie. It's called Fancy Dance. It's actually interesting that we were talking about Dances with Wolves because there's a scene in this movie where Lily Gladstone, one of the characters, opens a shelf. They have Dances with Wolves in their VHS cabinet, and basically to say Erica Tremblay, the writer and director, is basically saying like, for the longest time, this white savior narrative, Dances with Wolves, is the movie that indigenous people had. Until now, you have movies like Fancy Dance, which feels like a correction to that, and it feels like a correction to Horizon. This is a movie. It's a tough story. Lily Gladstone's playing an auntie who's searching for her missing sister while taking care of her niece, who the authorities want to remove from her care. It's beautiful. It's devastating. It's a heartache of a movie written with such potency by Erica Tremblay. She actually wrote this 40 miles from here in 6 nations. And so she writes it with such potency and care. And it's a movie about, yes, it's about this tough subject matter. It's about these women on the run to powwow. It's about them but it finds the joy in them trying to hold on to their culture and their ceremony and their Cayuga language, the stuff that has survived colonization all these years. So it's ultimately really hopeful and beautiful.
It sounds like a difficult watch, but a must-see.
A must-see, absolutely. So and we'll be talking about that at the end of the year when we're talking about like some of the best movies of the year.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah.
Okay, who's this one for?
I mean, this is for people who enjoy movies like Fruitvale Station and 1001. If you love those, you'll love this.
Okay, we've got about 30 seconds left.
Okay.
This is the prequel for A Quiet Place. How was it?
Look, I enjoyed this, surprisingly. I mean, I thought, third kick at the can to a movie that has constantly been playing one note. Well, you have Lupita Nyong'o here playing a cancer patient who's kind of tired of tiptoeing around these monsters, but playing a lot more notes than you would expect. And you know what? The novelty of A Quiet Place has not worn off for me. I still find myself in this movie listening to my own breath and making sure I'm not trying to trigger the monsters. So it works still.
Okay, who's this one for?
I mean, look, if you like World War Z and Cloverfield, you're still gonna like this.
Okay, so I'm definitely not seeing this one. Rad, thank you so much for coming in.
Happy long weekend.
Hey, thanks for watching. If you liked this, be sure to subscribe here, or you can check out more Your Morning videos right here.